Hello, Oleg. Hi, how are you
Hi,
today?
Kaza. Hi, Kaza. Good, good. No, very good. I mean, I really enjoying like, the conference, and I really enjoyed the all of the speakers, all the talks that I heard today and yesterday actually. So I will actually referring to some of the talks during my talk as well. So yeah.
Yeah, you have very interesting topic, like semi-technical you prepared, so please start.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Hello, everyone. As I can see, we have quite a few people joined. Thanks for joining. So my talk today will be a kind of developer in a mission talk, which is not the technical talk actually. I mean, I really like to have some conversations, some discussion with you guys. So please ask your questions in the Rocket chat or Rocket Q&A, and I'll try to address them during my talk. Okay, because I really want to have to get your kind of opinion, to get your questions and try to answer them, right? Um, so about myself, you probably know me as the head of program committee at Devoxx, obviously, right? But also I'm the solution architect at EPAM, and also I'm a speaker and trainer, passionate developer in the past. Right now I'm doing more like architecture stuff and management stuff, but before I worked as a developer for a long time, and also I'm for some time, and actually like from the end of the last year, I'm really interested in sustainability topic, in saving nature and planet, and that's the reason, because I think it is quite important, right? So that's the reason why we have this topic as the main theme of the conference this year. So hopefully, and I did some kind of polls in the Rocket, right? And I saw some of your answers, and I really enjoy to see that you like this main theme, right? So most of you kind of found this quite a great topic, which I'm quite proud of. So, I mean, let me start with one kind of crucial question. So, have you ever thought of doing something that really matters and make you proud of? And this kind of question came to me, at some point, right? So obviously, when you are like a junior or middle developer, you're not thinking about this kind of stuff, right? Because you're trying to learn new technologies. You're trying to apply them at your work. You're trying to kind of grow your career, right? But at some point, you start thinking about the kind of the value, the real value from your work, and you start to think whether you're doing something that really matters, right? Not just something that bring the value to the clients, to the customers that you are working for, but also something bigger than us, right? Um, and this is very important to kind of to dream big, right? Like Elon Musk, or some of the other kind of great folks, right? So this is very important to dream big and do not, uh, um, do not have the fear, right? So everything is possible in reality. You just need to set your goals, right? Um, don't be afraid to dream big, and I'm pretty sure you can do everything that you that you put kind of ahead of you, right? So I mean, sometime ago, right at the beginning of this year, actually, I did a survey to better understand what prevents people from doing something that really matters. And I really encourage you to take this survey. It's quite simple survey. I guess it's about like 5 questions, so it shouldn't take long time. I know that people hate to take surveys, but hopefully you'll find it quite interesting, right? Um, and it really gave me some insights. What people think, what developers think about some big goals like saving nature and planets or some other things. Um, and so I try to identify what the people needs, right? Um, so they are, and again, this is based on the real answers that people gave to me, right? During our talks, I talked to my friends, to the other developers, and really the people needs. So the people need clear problem statement and task definition. So it is very hard to work on something abstract, right? The other thing that project should be interested for a person, of course, because if it's not interesting for a person, then it's not gonna work. The other thing is that people need a guidance because most of them do not know how to start, and hopefully you kind of participated some of the sessions already during this conference, and heard some of the other speakers talking about their real examples, right? Talking about their own experience and giving some tips, and I will be giving also tips during my presentation, and also referring to some of the things that the other speakers mentioned already, during their talks, because really at the beginning you don't know how to start or where to start. The next point is that people need support to not feel lost or frustrated or demotivated. Um, and this is also very true because it is difficult to do something on your own. So you need a team, right? You need a team. You need to find some like-minded people. Another thing that you need to see results of your work, that it brings value, and this is also very important because if you start doing something and you don't see the results of your work, you become quite demotivated in some time, right? So you really should see the value, and ideally if you kind of move in iterative way, right? So if you doing small things or doing small steps and you see the results, you want to continue, right? People are looking for a team of like-minded people. I mean, it is quite similar to the previous one of the previous points. People should be able to apply their ideas, because you know all of us might have some brilliant ideas, but we might hesitate to talk about them. So please do not hesitate to share your ideas, and I'm pretty sure you'll find some support from the other people. This is actually what I did, right? So I had a dream, I had an idea of kind of bringing this kind of theme to the conference, and I shared it with our org committee, right? And everyone actually supported this idea. Everyone liked this idea. So again, do not kind of hesitate to share your ideas. They might be brilliant, and people might support that. Projects should help in self-development and career growth. This is another interesting point because I talked to one of the guys from our green community, and he told me quite a kind of worrying thing, right? So he told me that he was quite dedicated to saving nature and planet, but then he realized that it prevents him from from his self development, from his career growth, and then he left that and just concentrated on some day-to-day kind of development, learning some kind of new technologies and trying to grow his career. But in reality, you can combine things, right? So doing something that really matters shouldn't prevent you from your career growth. I mean, I would say it is kind of vice versa. It should help to grow your career. And finally, make sure that the product is actually used by people. This is true for some of the products or some of the startups that people creating. So if you created some brilliant mobile application, for example, but nobody using it, then it doesn't bring the kind of value, right? And potentially you become also demotivated. You don't want to kind of to improve it or to extend it because nobody using it, right? So this is very very important to understand what people needs, right? What people are looking for before you go into some kind of heavy development or spend a lot of efforts, time, and money on that. Oh, I have one more point here, that projects should allow to join people with different level of expertise. This is also true, and one of my friends mentioned it to me that sometimes it's quite difficult to join some open source project or some kind of initiative because you need to know a lot. There is a high level of entry in that. So ideally, if you are creating some project or doing some initiative, you should allow people to enter that with different level of expertise. Right? And what we do with that, right? So some of the tips that I can kind of give, right? So whatever you are going to build should solve someone needs, right? Do not be frustrated that people are not so motivated as you. And this is common frustration that also I had, personally, that I have some kind of idea, I'm quite exciting, but the other people are not so exciting around you, are not so like motivated as you, which is fine, right? Because this is your idea. Of course people are less motivated than you because this is your idea, right? But it shouldn't stop you. The other point is that talk to people around you, and you find like-minded people. And again, if you're not searching for that, then you're not gonna get that, right? So talk to people. Join communities to get support and inspiration from others. And this is also what other speakers like Tom Van Aren mentioned during his keynote, is that community is very important. And this is also something that I'm trying to build, right? So I'm trying to build the community of people, of developers who want to work on something that really matters, right? It is not easy to do, but you need to have the community for that. The other tip is that think how your skills and life experience can help in a particular area. This is also like important thing, because you don't want to learn something completely new, right? Because otherwise you think, okay, I'm developer, I like what I'm doing, why should I learn something completely new, right? Why should I learn, for example, biology to be able to to help save animals, right? I don't want to do completely different stuff, but that's fine. The reality is that you can use your skills and your life experience still to do something new, still to do something important. And I guess again, lots of speakers mentioned similar things. You can always find a time for something that is interested for you. I mean, this point is this tip for those who are who used to say that we don't have time, right? I mean, nobody has time, right? I mean, we all busy. We all busy doing our stuff. But if something is really interesting for you, I mean, believe me, you will find the time, and this is reality. Explore opportunities in your company, and this is something that I started from. So when I start to to investigate this topic, I found the green EPAM community, at EPAM, and I joined that guys. I talked to that guys. After that, I found that there is also sustainability practice at EPAM, and I also like get in contact with those guys, kind of involved in this sustainability practice, to see how can I help. right? So you can really start with your company. If you don't have community, if you don't have the team of like-minded people, then you can start from your company, right? I mean, it is easier. Try to find the people and find the support at your company, and potentially they will also like support you from cost perspective, right? So if you need some kind of budget, potentially you can get it from your company. It is much easier than get the budget from some governments, or get the budget from some private companies. Um, and finally, look for ways how you can mix certain activities and reach several goals at the same time. This is my kind of special tip, right? Because an example of that is actually the Devoxx Ukraine, right? Because I had this passion and this idea, to help save nature and planet, and also, I'm organizing the Devoxx, right? We are trying to to do a great conference, and we managed to mix these two things, right? So we mix them together, and then you spend less time, right? Because basically you're preparing Devoxx conference, but also you're increasing awareness of people, and you also you're also involved in kind of in sustainability stuff, right? So it's this is it is cool thing when you can actually save your time or efforts by kind of combining things together. So what are the planet treats? And again, I mean, here I don't want to spend lots of time, because that this is not the main topic of this talk, right? But just to mention couple of treats that you also heard probably during some other talks, is there are lots of treats in reality, and I put here the more environmental treats, but as Tom also mentioned during the keynote, there are also like a social problems we have, and also educational problems, and lots of other problems that we have, right? So, but on environmental side, we have, of course, a plastic and waste kind of problem. We have the water depletion. We have ocean pollution. We have soil pollution. We have air pollution. We have the big kind of climate crisis. I would say not even climate change problem, but climate crisis right now. We have this. Greenhouse emissions that actually like contribute to the climate crisis, and finally the biodiversity loss, the trees for animals. So there are lots of them, and of course there are more, right? So, but why now, right? Why we are talking about this now? Because I guess right now this is the right time. I mean, of course we should have started like earlier probably, and we still kind of wasting a lot of time, but we have literally about 20 years, I think, to make significant changes. Otherwise we will be in big trouble. We're already in a trouble, but we will be even in bigger trouble. So, and now is the I guess is a good time, because the governments start to take some actions and introduce some regulations. Of course, they can do better, but still, right? The businesses start to understand an impact and invest money, and we've got more volunteers, we've got more volunteer communities and non-profit organizations. Also, they are participating in that initiatives. And also technology provides new opportunities. This is very important because people were trying to kind of save nature, or doing something useful for a long time, right? But now with the with advancing of technology, it is much easier to make an impact, right? And here, I guess, where developers can help, right? Because developers, they are familiar with technology, right? They like technology, and that's why I think developers can bring a lots of value here, right? So another important kind of thing is that ideally we should strive for win-win scenario. And what does it mean, right? Because win-win is the key for people and businesses to take environmental saving actions. And the point here is that the companies, right, and people, they want to earn money, right? So ideally, if if some kind of climate actions or some other actions that are for good, right? They will also bring some profit. It will be the ideal win-win scenario, right? Because then the companies and governments will be motivated to do that, right? But the good thing is some of the more advanced kind of governments that understand the problem, they already they are trying to set some policies and rules to kind of encourage people to live sustainable life, right? Or to to participate in some like sustainability projects, stuff like that, right? And this is the key, right? Because if something is not profitable, or you see that something is not good for you, then you're not gonna do this, right? Unless you're super motivated to kind of to invest in that. So we have a lot of sustainability goals. I'm not gonna go through all of them, but just for you to know that there are like 17 kind of classification of sustainability goals according to UN, a kind of list. But so there are lots of ways that one can help. So for example, right, you can donate to well-known organizations, or such as Worldwide Fund and others. You can sign petitions to governments. You can live sustainable life. Sort garbage, use green energy. You can promote saving nature and planet ideas, amongst others. You can contribute in learning materials for kids in schools. You can join non-profit organizations and communities and act as volunteer, for example. But also you can create your own startup or community application, or adopt computer science technologies to help in saving the ocean planet. And there is a lot of demand in that, as you probably also heard during some of other talks today and yesterday. And also, finally, you can even get hired, right, and start career in one of the organizations dedicated to saving nature and planet. And you heard examples from a team who is working on kind of who organized the kind of hug the planet thing, and also the story from Martin, who is doing the machine learning in Amsterdam, right? And some of the other examples, and the story from Jason, right? How he started this Wild Me organization, Wild Me kind of company. So there are lots of examples that you heard, even at this conference, right? But you might ask, so okay, there are lots of things how you can involve, but where developers actually can be involved, right? To being as a developer, but in reality, like everywhere, right? In all that things that I mentioned. So I'll give you example, right? So for example, I mean, of course, some of these examples might be artificial a bit, but still. So for example, you can develop software to track donations, right? You can develop software to search and track petitions progress. You can develop software to intelligently assist people how to live sustainable life. You can tell others how developers can save the planet and nature. That's what I'm doing right now. I mean, telling you this stuff, right? You can develop software to bring awareness and knowledge for kids. You can share your computer science knowledge and skills to help volunteers work in some environmental projects. And actually, there are lots of scientists that they are especially kind of, for example, biologists, right, who are not quite strong in in software engineering, of course, but so they need your help. Um, you can create your own system or application to help solving particular environment problem. But remember, as I told you, that be careful in investing a lot of efforts in that, before you know that it will be used, right? It is before you know that it is needed, right? Um, you can participate in some of the existing projects to build, system targeted to help scientists to save the planet. So, for example, join the Wild Me potentially, and help them with something, or some other, non-profit organizations. Or you can get hired as a developer to one of the organizations doing cool stuff to saving the planet. So, for example, I know that Microsoft and SAP and IBM, as you probably heard the talk from Grace Janssen. So these kind of big IT companies, they actually have some of the sustainability projects, right? So potentially you can actually get hired as a developer and join this kind of projects in these big companies. Why not? So as you can see, like, developers can be actually involved, everywhere, because everything around us is computer systems, right? In all domains, in all areas of our life right now. And so I added this slide, by the way, just today, right after I heard the great talk from Tom, a great keynote from the Tom. And Tom gave the kind of his 10 tips, or 10, I called it like 10 steps to success in this kind of area, right? So you should get going, and you should actually like give it a start, right? You should get a team, which I already mentioned. You should get paid ideally, because if something, and this is, I mean, I'll talk about that later, but lots of developers, they think that all this stuff is not like profitable, right? All this stuff is just volunteering, but in reality, as Tom gave a couple of examples, there are governments and companies who are willing to pay for some good ideas, for some good prototypes, for some good applications, right? And if you get paid, of course it's like motivates you, right? So get political, and so, for example, what does it mean? To find for example, the city goals, and to understand, again, this is related to understand the needs, right? Understand the needs of the city, for example, and then propose your idea to tackle that kind of problems or needs, right? Get uncomfortable, because this is something that you need to come out of your comfort zone and do something. Get gorilla. This is kind of funny, but this is the good tip, I guess, that you should do first and then apologize, right? If you did something kind of wrong. Otherwise, if you will be like worried to use some data, for example, then nobody will give you like uh, um, approval to use that, unless you try to use that, and then if it's like kind of forbidden, then you can apologize. Get scientific, so experiment a lot. Get artistic, it means visualize your ideas and results. because if you're trying to sell something to people, they like to see that. You need to visualize things rather than just talk about your idea, right? It is not very representative. Get open, go open source. Whatever you do, um, you know, ideally you should make it kind of open for everyone else to to contribute and also to get benefit from that. And get real, right? What are the ethics? What are the values? So you should think how your idea will actually work in real life, right? Because you can come up with some bright idea, but it might be non-realistic in our kind of real life, right? With existing policies and stuff like that. So I'll show you some of the, I want to show you some of the examples. There are lots of them, but some of the examples how technology helps in saving nature and planet. So, I mean, we start from non-AT stuff, but they are quite fascinating. So, for example, a hydrogen fuel. So right now, this is a very important and promising area to substitute use of coal, of oil, of gas, right? Instead of that, substitute the use of fossil fuels and use hydrogen fuel for the for transportation, for the for airplanes, for the cars, right? And I'm sorry. And actually, I mean, there are some projects already kind of in progress, right? To make aircrafts, to make them use hydrogen as a fuel, right? And make them kind of zero emission, because aircraft's one of the most the biggest kind of polluters, the biggest contributors in greenhouse gases, right? So this is the bright ideas, and there are already a couple of companies dedicated to that. So Airbus has some kind of plans, and also there is another kind of startup company, Zero Avia, who are already kind of making some small aircrafts that work on hydrogen, which is quite promising, right? And of course they have the bigger plans going forward. And how is green hydrogen produced? So I mean, it's been produced for some time already, right? So but usually it's been produced by the from the gas, right? Which is of course not not green, right? But there is also another way how to produce hydrogen, right? You can use electrolysis process for that, and just use the water and a bit of electricity to produce hydrogen. And you might say that, oh, it requires electricity, which is also not quite kind of green, right? But in reality, it requires not much, relatively not kind of much electricity, and you can get it from some of the renewable kind of sources, from the wind and from the water kind of turbines, or from thermal energy as well, right? So, for example, there is the sorry if I go here. So there is the project. There is a plant already exists in the island, which is like producing hydrogen, but I mean it's gonna advance, I guess, with the time, right? So another great technology is CO2 capture. So this is like capturing the greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. This is also quite a promising thing. It is still not mature yet, right? But there is already existing kind of facilities, right? Existing like plant that is started in Ireland to do this direct air capture, and for the electricity they're using a thermal thermal energy, because in Ireland they have a lot of geysers, right? So they can use the heat from the earth to kind of to produce electricity for the for produce sorry for getting CO2 kind of capture, right? There is also like, I mean, I admired from this waste energy plant in Copenhagen, right? In on Copenhagen, which is also great because you really, instead of polluting the soil, right, by having lots of like garbage, lots of waste, you can actually transform that to the energy, which is kind of win-win scenario, right? There is also an idea of green transportation and the kind of big ships that work just on the wind energy, which is also quite fascinating, right? But let's kind of switch to the to more probably IT stuff, to more kind of computer science thing. And so I mean, for those who didn't participate this kind of session from Jason yesterday on the Wild Book or Wild, so there is WildMe organization, right, who created the Wild Book, and this is like a technology which allows you to recognize the patterns of the animals and actually to be able to recognize the individuals, right? Individual species, and thanks to this kind of technology, which is based on computer vision and machine learning, you can actually like track populations of animals, right? And the goal is to track that populations almost in real time, right? To see how population either grow or shrink, kind of, and alert when we have some, big shortage in the population of some of the endangered animals, right? So this is great technology. This is the diagram showing their architecture, which is also quite interesting. As you can see, they are getting the pictures from the citizen scientists, from biologists, from the social media, and also they are using a lot of different technologies, as you can see at the left kind of bottom, right? And also they are using, of course, computer vision algorithms to identify the animals, identify the species from the pictures, right? And in reality, they're using lots of cool algorithms behind the scenes. It's not just the one algorithm, but they are actually using about, kind of dozen of different algorithms used for different purposes, right? Another great example of, applying technology, today team actually was talking about that, is the hug the poacher thing, when they they managed to track the poachers based on also using machine learning and computer vision from the camera traps. So they managed to track the poachers and alert some of the rangers, right, in the national parks, which is great because, I mean, they actually, thanks to technology, right, and being a developers, they actually help to protect animals, right? Help national parks, right, with the protecting animals from the poachers, and also like team. So this is the picture I took today during the team talk, and he mentioned the butterfly effect, and this is very true. And what does it mean? Like, he mentioned that he was a developer like long time. He's still a developer, but he started this Hug the Planet kind of project when he's got a child, right? He's got a son, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, and he called it the butterfly effect, because when you get the children, then you start think about their future, right? And you start basically, this is one of the motivations to do this kind of stuff, because instead of just thinking about yourself, about how to be the rich, how to buy the car or buy the house, you start to think about the future of the planet, right? The future of the about saving the nature. And another great talk was from the Grace Janssen yesterday, and I also took the some of the screenshots from her talk. She was talking about lots of cool projects she's been participating in. So she mentioned IBM Graph, which is developed by IBM, right? As I mentioned, so some of the big IT companies developing this kind of stuff. Also, she mentioned about one cool kind of project where they, kind of track the animals in the zoo, and adjust the heating in their, kind of cages, right? Adjust the heating depends whether they are empty or there are some animals inside, right? So this is like a project that allows using IoT devices, you're actually effectively or efficiently control the heating, right? To not waste the energy, to not waste the electricity, which is very, very cool. And also she mentioned about a couple of kind of links here, a couple of projects, Call for Code, which is organized by the IBM, and Cachifier, which allows you to actually find and search for some of the cool projects out there and to get involved, right? So, I mean, and this is very kind of useful because, if you want to participate in something, I mean, it's difficult to Google for that. And there are special sites like this, or special kind of project that allow you to easy find some opportunities, find some cool projects, and actually jump in, right? So this is, I mean, I should check that by myself, but they are quite an interesting resources, right? Another great talk was from Martin Tsal, also yesterday. He was talking about computer vision and again artificial intelligence applied in Amsterdam, for a couple of different kind of social projects. So one of the project was to kind of identify the garbage on the streets and help to efficiently collect that garbage. And there are a couple of other projects, so you can probably watch the Martin talk recording later on, right? And now I want to kind of share with you, and you can use this QR code here. I prepared the kind of free ebook, right, for you guys, and I'm happy to share with you. So I'm prepared the ebook actually about the top 10 apps that I found quite useful. I found quite interesting, and hopefully they will also inspire you to develop and build some sustainable applications. So check it out. So you can use this QR code, and then you can actually you'll get your ebook copy to your email address, right? So so you can scan it right now, or I'll share it at the end of the presentation as well, right? So there are a couple of cool mobile applications from that list that I want to kind of show you just now, right? So one is the Seek by iNaturalist. So this application very cool. So this is a mobile application which allows you to actually make a photo, or even in real life, right? So make a photo of any species of animals, plants, or kind of mushrooms, and using some again machine learning thing behind the scenes, they are kind of identifying what is it, right? What is it? So this is very cool because even your children can play with that because they can explore nature around us, but just using the phone and checking what is it, what this plant, what this animal, and this is very cool. I mean, I was actually playing with it by myself, just going through the park and just making lots of photos around me and trying to see whether it can actually recognize what is it, or I don't know what how it's called, but actually this application knows, right? And so they have a big database of the kind of examples and all the species. Another project that I'm especially proud of, because this is EPAM kind of project, EPAM product, is the carbon calculator. And this is carbon calculator for individuals. So any individual can calculate their carbon emission just using the simple quiz. So you go through the simple quiz in kind of a gamification manner, and you calculate your carbon kind of footprint. And then you can, compare it to, you can do it, let's say, each month, and then you can see your trend. You can compare your results, see whether you become more kind of sustainable, more green or not, right? So, and also it gives you some of the tips, right? Some of the suggestions how to be more, sustainable, more eco-friendly, right? And there are quite a lot similar, in reality, similar applications out there. One of them is Climate Hero, which does quite similar things. So you also go through the quiz, and also it gives you some score, and then it shows you some of the tips how you can be more green, right, more sustainable. And probably almost kind of the last one example is the also related to carbon calculation, right? Is the Mckay carbon calculator. So this application is based on kind of Excel. So behind the scenes, the actual engine for that is quite complicated Excel workbook, right? So there are lots of quite advanced calculation formulas behind that, but also they have this UI, right? And so basically it allows to predict and calculate the kind of emissions and energy consumption by the country. So it is developed for UK, but in reality, one of the ideas is that you can develop it or extend it for the other countries. So it is showing the UK kind of situation, right? And it shows the kind of current state of things, and it shows some prediction. And also this prediction changes, depends on your actions. So on the left-hand side, you can see the different kind of actions, level of ambition that you can apply, and then you see the results, right? So for example, you see the kind of greenhouse gas emissions reduction till the 2050 if you follow that kind of approach and agenda, right? So this is very useful for the government, that they can actually, using science, because this calculator developed by scientists. So using the science, you can actually plan your actions to reduce emissions. And this is something that is useful for the governments, and this, lots of governments now pledge to reduce their emissions till 2030, 2050. So this kind of stuff very useful, for them. Another tool, and also, I mean, today there was a talk from the Ioannis Kolaxis about the green computing or green code, and there is also the tool developed by Martin Fowler team called Cloud Carbon Footprint, which allows to calculate the kind of carbon footprint of your application running in cloud. So also this is quite interesting, so you can check it out at cloudcarbonfootprint.org. I mean, I haven't tried it myself, but I'm really looking forward to try that. And also, I guess the last example here, before I show you a quite nice kind of video here at the end, right, is the Microsoft platform. So Microsoft invests a lot in sustainability stuff, and they develop their artificial intelligence platform for the Earth, and they have a lot of open source data sources, open source APIs, or open source tools that you can actually use and kind of build upon that, right, on top of that. And so they provide a lot of, again, data sources and models, machine learning models that you can just use in your projects for free, right? So check it out, right? And now I want to show you kind of 2 minutes video from the Bill Gates, who is actually, I mean, I very much like this video. I mean, one of my favorites. And Bill Gates right now, he's doing a lot in sustainability area in reality, if you don't know that. And he's investing a lot of money and also kind of resources in that area. So yeah, please watch this video quite.
In a typical year, the world emits over 51 billion tons of greenhouse gases. And as we keep doing that, the consequences for human life will be catastrophic. When I first fell in love with computers as a teenager, they were enormous, expensive, and only the government and big companies could afford them. But my friends and I became obsessed with a wild idea. What could we do if there was a computer on every desk? And now the wild idea is quite tame. Billions of people not only have computers on their desks, but even in their pockets. Now the world needs another breakthrough. In fact, it needs many breakthroughs. We need to get from 51 billion tons to 0 while still meeting the planet's basic needs. That means we need to transform the way we do almost everything. Our commitment to developing these innovations will mean the difference between a future where everyone can live a healthy, productive life and one where we're constantly dealing with the human and financial crises at a historic scale. Entrepreneurs and investors have to build new businesses and change existing businesses to get these solutions deployed. Government leaders have to enact new policies that drive the market for clean energy. And advocates have to keep their voices loud to hold all of us accountable for rapid progress. Avoiding a climate disaster will be one of the greatest challenges humans have ever taken on. Greater than landing on the moon, greater than eradicating smallpox, even greater than putting a computer on every desk. My basic optimism about climate change comes from my belief in innovation. It's our power to invent that makes me hopeful.
If my talk didn't inspire you, so hopefully the Bill Gates kind of teaser inspires you guys. So actually, I mean, we don't have like I guess time for the questions, but you can, I checked the rockets. I didn't see any questions from you guys, but I will be around, so you can ask your questions in the rockets directly to me, right, or in the chat, or also you can ask your questions in Twitter or any other social media. And also, I mean, one more time, you can use my free ebook with 10 apps to inspire developers to build more sustainable world. So kind of you can use that QR code here. And also, I encourage you to join my kind of communities I'm trying to build called Developing Sustainable World. So you can also kind of use this QR code to join my Facebook group, where I'm posting some of the interesting stuff, and hopefully we can have the conversation there. So thanks a lot for watching, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Yeah, thank you, Oleg. We are very sorry that you don't have time for questions, but dear participants, we invite you to join the panel discussion with Oleg, and some other speakers. And you can ask your questions, any of your questions you have. Maybe you have some on sustainability, to Oleg and the rest of the guys.
Absolutely. Now we are going to continue the panel discussion. So actually, you can come there and ask your questions, not just myself, but the others, kind of great speakers, right?
Yeah. So the panel discussion will happen in stream 4. And Oleg, we again are very thankful to you and to all your work done as head of program committee for Devoxx Ukraine. So thanks once again.
Thank you very much.
See you in a couple minutes.
Cheers, guys.